and this is the Junk Parlor. I sell old stuff and cool junk for your home, and I also decorate with it. So today we are going to decorate my built-ins. So I love to use neutral colors, and yes, green is a neutral color. And I like to do different things. I'm really into like hunting and gaming things right now, feathers, and I really want some arrows, birds' nests and horns and antlers and all those good things. So if you like those types of things, you're gonna love this video. Okay, when we finished with the last video, I went ahead and placed the duck here, and I did switch out. So I had a little like box to set the duck up on because I kind of wanted the duck to be centered in this space, and the box just seemed too petite. So I got a couple of books that have a lot wider spans, and then I could just leave it like that, but I thought something fun would be I have taken these little arrows or darts and put them in a glass flower frog just for some fun display, and went ahead and put that up here. So technically they're not like hunting arrows or anything, but still something fun to put in here that I feel like kind of goes maybe just because of the feathers. I'm adding these mirrors. I'm keeping them together as a group of 3. I'm just putting them in a different spot than I've had them recently. This one is my grandpa's shaving mirror, and it is going to be easy to always remember which one because there's a lot of damage on the frame. And then honestly, I just lucked out and I found the other 2 when I've been out shopping, trying to really just guesstimating that they were going to be a different size. I took this cloche from over by the entryway, and I had a nest in it before, but I swapped that out for some candles and then just some raffia. And basically I just held them in my hand and slowly put the cloche on top, and then I just let them spray out. And then I just kind of turned it around until I kind of liked one of the sides more than the other. So this is how we're going to have this part facing out. I love using wooden boxes in my decor, and so we're going to add this. It does cover up some of the mirror, but the mirror is not anything that a person is actually going to look in. They are just giving us some reflection there in the back space of this section of the built-in. I don't know if you remember, I recently picked up these birds made out of a horn. I have 3 of them, but I think I'm only going to use 2 of them. The wood bases kind of mimic the base that we have here for the cloche. And the 2 birds I picked are going kind of different directions. I think we need to scoot everything over just a bit. So we have about equal space from side to side. We have changing heights here, and we can do that just by pushing things forward or backwards. I already had this mirror here, and there is a wire hanger on it, but I don't want to really nail into the back of my built-ins, so I just kind of have it leaning. It's not sitting perfectly. The first piece I wanted to add in is this old clock base, and I love the coloring on it. I love the detailing on it, and we're really just keeping with neutrals here in the built-in. Then I felt like I need something with a little bit of height. And then again, something kind of unexpected and different than everybody else. So I'm going to push the clock base back a little bit so that we can have the trophy cup forward. I'm not sure if I want the trophy to actually be showing us that it's a trophy, so I think I'm going to turn it around. And then these two items are pretty much the same height, which whenever you are decorating, you want to have different levels. So I always call it like zigzagging. So high, then a little lower on the left, and then a little lower. So we kind of need something up here, but I also want to add in some fillers because otherwise our clock here is just empty. So I grabbed some, like, this is just some random stuff like a Spanish moss and things I've picked up thrifting, and I just had them tucked in a bowl. And we're literally just going to squish them into that opening. I have put nests in these before, or some like green moss that I had, little moss sheets. Kind of clean up as we go. And then I don't want to use a real plant just because I get really iffy about watering things over here. So I thrifted some of these like air plants, and they're kind of like a neutral color green, if that is such a thing. So we'll stuff those in there. And then this is such a weird gymnast. So I'm pretty sure it's like a brass covered piece and not bronze, but we needed some height here. And again, I like to do things different than everybody else. So we're going to add our little guy here on the clock. In this space, I really haven't changed anything. I did have the plant sitting here, so it's kind of a stair step of these juggling pins and the plant, but I scooted the pins around and ended up putting the plant here. I also took this down and tried to pick off all of the dead leaves so that it looks a little bit better. But I like how this one spills over, and even though this top part is empty, you can't really see it because it's so tall up here. Sadly, this beautiful painting, I could not get it to just lean or sit. I tried command strips, but the back of this is kind of fuzzy because it's just a sheet of finished plywood. I've sanded it, but everything in the built-ins is raw because I like that look. And as soon as you put something on the raw wood, I don't care. I've tested a ton of things. It looks different. And so this is not something that we eat on. Like I said, I do have a real plant, but I do have it on a coaster. There's nothing really going to transfer and do any damage to this raw wood. So I have just left it as is. And I feel like someday I will probably do something to it, but that day hasn't came yet. I ended up putting a hole in the back because the command strip just would not stick. And that's what I had originally thought. What I ended up doing was using a clear thumbtack. So you can see the clear thumbtack here, although I feel like it's kind of a little bit pixelated. But all I did was just push that in. I did actually end up using a hammer, but I think these just make smaller nail holes or smaller holes and stuff than a nail does. So it will fit on the sawtooth hanger absolutely fine. And this painting already had a sawtooth, so then I can just hook it on there. Get it level. And this actually I hung last. So the reason I wanted the picture up so high is because I first set things on the built-in. So when you don't have wooden boxes or crates, you can always use books. So I have these big ledgers that I put on there, but then I wanted some more height because remember, at first I was definitely trying to lean the painting. And since we've moved here pretty much, I have had these paint brushes under a cloche and I love them, but at the same time, I wanted to do something different. These are those paint brushes. And I just think they look good with the painting. But I felt like they needed something here on the bottom, some kind of riser and a different color to kind of make it stand out a little bit more. And then we also need something here. So I took my cross that I'm just in love with, which just barely fits under here. And these shelves are ones that I can rearrange them. I just didn't want to have to do that when I have the top one how I want it. I came in and I added some little bits. So we have this brass leaf, and then these are some acorn tops, and I just went ahead and set that here. So I did keep it very low beside the cross so that you could see the painting. And then my little sheep here, you'll see that I have lots of sheep around the house, some stars, and these are all from my willow tree nativity set. These are bamboo straws from our luau in Hawaii. I have just a bundle of dried flowers. I'm just going to let spill, however. And then we're going to take this little piece of coral, which kind of looks dirty, and tuck it in here as well. I also swapped out what I had in this cloche, and I wanted to use the egg, ostrich egg, somehow. So what I ended up doing, and it was easy but hard at the same time. So I used a little restaurant creamer because I could not find my egg holder, and I put the ostrich egg on the restaurant creamer. And I did that just because it looks better elevated than just laying sloppily in the bottom of the cloche. Plus, this is the top shelf, so you can see it a lot better if it is elevated. And then I very carefully put the cloche over it and slid it into place. To break up the two dark boxes, what I ended up doing was putting this ledger or journal in between. It gives a nice break up, but you're creating levels, and we're using dark wood. I try to change up the wood tones throughout all of the built-ins so it looks cohesive. Not all the darks on one spot, but you try and tie it all in together by using multiple wood tones. One little tip here about books is see how thick this one is? I did have a couple thick ones and it just didn't look right. Sometimes breaking up the textures when you're doing a book stack is a good idea. So one fat one and a couple skinny is going to look better than a couple fat ones. This section I didn't do anything to other than actually tucking in a few extra Bibles here and there, but I just left it. Probably next time, whether I change it or not, I'm going to want to take everything out, dust, and put everything back. But for now, all I do when I get a Bible is I just add it in, or I go and put it in my bedroom where I have another kind of collection going. I have tucked in a few little pieces here and there. I did add some scissors. I added some pussy willow to that back brass goblet. And then this is a neat little piece. I think it is a music paper clip, and I've added that on the top of one of the Bible stacks as well. Also, I do want to point out that the bottom two on this back one, they're actually the black money boxes. So just to give me some height without trying to, gradually gradiate, is that the correct word? Change the sizes of the Bibles. I just went ahead and used that to give me the height. And then if you see it, it looks black, so you think it's Bibles. This spot I did not change at all either. All I did was take things out and dust. There's only 3 things in there, so it's super easy. And again, just to kind of go over decorating on a built-in or any shelf, you always want to change your height. So we have high, medium, and low. They're an odd number, just grouped tightly together. So some of my built-in spots have 3 things. Some have a lot of things. You want to switch it up. So not have all of your built-in little cubbies, all of your shelves be pack jam full, because when you kind of do both, a little empty, a little full, then it looks more curated, more put together, more easy on the eye. This is the cloche that I had the paintbrushes under, and it's huge. I love it. It actually, when I bought it at the thrift store, it had a huge like styrofoam piece here, like a cylinder in the middle, and then flowers, silk flowers all around it. So it must have been something from somebody's wedding. Don't mind all the crumbs on my table. But I wanted to use these little books somehow, and so they're too big for a lot of the cloches I have, but obviously they're too small for this one. And I also recently picked up this finial piece. I actually have 2 of these. They are for sale. A lot of the things in my built-ins are for sale. So if you're interested in something, you can check my website at thejunkparlor.com, or you can just comment here and see if it's something that is for sale, because most, not everything. Then I took this little silver plate. I think it's a sugar bowl. I stuck some feathers in it because you know I have lots of feathers everywhere. And I just needed some height, plus I wanted to tie in some more natural elements. And then this little wool felted sheep, different than the nativity ones that I have from Willow Tree, but I still like to incorporate him in there. And then I just put the cloche lid on because there's not enough height on the built-ins to do any assembly and put the cloche over it. So basically you have to put the cloche together, and then you're going to transport it to the shelf. I also added a mirror because we have a lot of mirrors on the other side. We do have a mirror here behind the Bibles, but then I still needed some height, and the only other mirror I had was too tall for this space. So I brought back this livestock sale. This was my great-grandpa's, and great coloring for everything that I have going on in this room. I recently picked up this copper box, and so we're going to use it. And you either want things lined up perfectly in front of each other, or you want them off center. So where the box is means that I need to have the sale sign over a little bit. And then we need some height on here, something that is going to give you a little bit height but not cover up the sign. And then I also have this lampshade. There's one broken metal piece on it somewhere, and I do have, here it is. And I kind of use it as a cloche, honestly. And I do have the, what even kind of glass is it? Some kind of, I want to say slag. That's not the right word. Anyway, there's some glass inserts, but they won't really stay because of that broken piece. And I don't even think it matters it's the broken piece. There's clips here on the bottom, but there's no clips on the top. So I'm guessing the ring that kind of holds the shade on, well, I don't have that, so the glass pieces won't stay in. So I just wanted to use this somewhere. This gives us some height, but again, we can see what's behind it. And then I love using my stars. If you've been following me for very long, then you know that we lost our son, our second one, when I was 9 months pregnant to a true cord knot. I have all the details in a video if you want to go bawl your eyes out. But we decorated his bedroom in stars. I have a star tattoo. We put stars on his headstone. Stars play a special, have a special place in my heart. And so this is from the willow tree set, and I just kind of incorporate it into my decor year round. This piece has a lot of wooden chess pieces, or not a lot, it has a set. And so I want this somewhere with easy access so that we can use it, but also it looks pretty, so might as well show that off too. Okay, we're gonna mix our metals here a little bit. I don't really have any long skinny books, so I got this a brass planter and we're gonna put it there. And then to give this brass bucket some height, we're gonna put it on this little brass compote. And they almost look like they are married together that way. So again, a little high, medium, and low. And then I feel like this needs something else, and I haven't put my beautiful new boat painting anywhere, so we're going to lean it up here. And actually what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the wire and I am going to slide it into the drawer to kind of hook it, and then that way it doesn't accidentally get knocked off. Just a little safety precaution. So one thing you can do with your balls, your Christmas ornaments, pool balls, croquet balls, any balls, you can use these rings. I don't even know where I got these, but you can get rings or washers or, something to this effect, or even like the plastic rings you do your shower curtain with. And then they will hold in place any little ball that you want to put out on display. Another reason to thrift, this thing is like $50 brand new, this plant, and I got it thrifting, and I have switched it in and out like a million different things. So because I don't have a plant ready to go for this pot yet, I'm just going to use a fake one. Now it maybe is not the perfect shape. I'm kind of wanting something that will like flow down, but for the meantime, this is good. Thanks so much for watching today's video. Be sure to click that subscribe button. Leave me a comment. What was your favorite little built-in spot? And be sure to check back for more decorating videos and more thrifting hauls. And if you want to see something in particular, please leave it down in the comments, because that's why we decorated today.